Good morning, it's Bev at Plantcrochet. Again, excuse the voice. I'm still not 100%. Anyway, what I'm doing today, I'm still on with the squidgy octopus, and I've got to the round that I'm going to be just using a front loop only. And if you've not done that before, I thought I'd take you along and show you how to do it. If you look at a crocheted stitch, if you watch my previous video, this is a double crochet, and this is UK terminology. So this is a little stitch. Let me see if I can show you a taller stitch. No, I haven't got one to hand, but this is the small stitch in crochet. It looks big on here because I'm using chunky yarn, but you can see the difference in sizes. That's the double crochet in different thicknesses of yarn. And at the top of your stitch, you have kind of two lines on your hook when you go into your stitches to make another stitch. So that's another row or another round. And what I'm going to do, or what I need to do to put this little cute frill on here, is I just want to go in this front one, this front line, if you like, this one here, all the way around again. Double crochet, nothing else, but I just want to do it in the front loop. Now I know that's my first stitch because I've moved the marker up. If you want this pattern, head over to my Etsy store. You can buy it from there. It's in UK terminology as well, and it's in English. This is my first stitch, and I'm only going to go in the first loop. So not go all the way through my stitch. It's called front loop only. But you make the same stitches I've done all the way around. Now, what I recommended on here is on the pattern is, because it just vanishes, the back, it is there, I can see it, is put stitch marker, and I don't know how, but I've ended up with big ones because there's two sizes. These are fine for most projects, but I do find with chunky yarn, I've never used super chunky, so I wouldn't know, but I would use the big stitch markers, and that's because we want to use that one later. Recommend putting a stitch marker in, you don't lose it. And that's all you do all the way around. So this is called front loop only, and it don't matter what pattern it is, whether it's this pattern or someone else's pattern. This is what front loop means. So again, just the one loop, you don't go through all the stitch, whoopsie daisy, all the way. It's a bit loose. And at the back, you have this kind of ridge going on. They're the unworked back loops. And we're going to use that in this pattern later on. We don't need that at the moment, and that's why I recommend putting a stitch marker in. Even as a seasoned crocheter, I still would do that, and especially in yarn like this, because you can easily miss it. And again, if you're unsure where your stitch is in your first one, pop a stitch marker in the first one there. I'll do the rest off camera, and then I'll show you the rest, what I'm going to be doing. I've gone all the way around, and that's what it looks inside. You see all these unused back loops all the way around. They will be used at some point in the pattern, and like I said, if you want to purchase a pattern, head over to my Etsy store. The other thing I've been doing, well, attempting to do while recovering, is finish an order off for a lovely customer, and it is attaching a piece of crochet to another piece, and there's different ways of doing it, but you want it secure so it's not going to come off. And that's how the frill looks, and I'll do that all the way around. What also I'm doing is attaching these two pieces of crochet together. I have to go along here, backwards and forwards, matching a stitch up with each kind of, this is a chain here, this bit, and this is a stitch, matching it to the bottom, and then going back at the back on the other piece and doing the same on the underside, because this rib looking pattern here is double crochet. It's how I've sewn these two, the front and the back of this together, and that's what that is. And how I'm going is just picking up 2 stitches where you saw the needle, and then on the chain I can see the next hole. It took me a while to work out, you see I've gone a little bit awry there. I've cut through the stitch as opposed to go through the hole. Now for me, I could leave that and it's no big deal, the customer's not going to notice, but I notice it. So I may pull that back and go through the hole. It's just the way I've put the needle in, and I've caught the thread. I've caught the strand of yarn and poked it through. It won't damage it in any way. It just means when I pull it tight, I'll have to be very careful. You may wonder why it's loose. It is kind of loose. I haven't pulled it tight as I've gone along. And what I like to do is, not just this project but others, I have gone along as long as it takes to join 2 pieces together. I do the same with the teddies I've done. This one, the octopus, is different because I've crocheted the tentacles are not crocheted on, they are crocheted continuously off the yarn, the ball of yarn. But when you sew a limb on, I do the same with a limb. I'll sew so far, make sure it looks okay, it's in the right position, and then I will pull tight. And that's what I will do here on this one. And what I need to do is sandwich, because this piece here, this dark grey, is 2 pieces, and I need to sandwich these stitches in between. So this is the way I'm going to do it. So I have to make sure again, I've just gone through the foundation chain hole. See, I've caught a little bit of the yarn, I think. I'm not sure. Let me just check. No, I think I've missed it. So how I'll do it, I'll just show you a few stitches at the beginning. So a hook's good to do this with as well, but I haven't got one to hand. And that's what I do. I just, not too tight, you don't want to screw up your work. You've took your time to do your work, and then you've gone and damaged it because you can overstretch your project or your yarn, you know, as you're doing things. If you pull it too tight, as I've believe it or not, recently I watched a video on something, and it was a lady who commented on, you know, when you're winding, you've had a ball of yarn and then you wind, you make a new ball, because whatever you've got left, you can overstretch, and you don't want to do that when you're doing this as well. You don't want to overstretch your join, because this can be washed. If you do a blanket, say, and you're sewing squares together, or an edging on, you sew something on it, if you overstretch the sewing, when it's washed, it's going to wear out quicker, because you've stretched it, and you don't want to do that with your yarn. You want to be gentle with it. It's quite robust, depending if you get good quality ones. I've said in my previous videos I use a lot of Stylecraft. That's not sponsored in any way, and this is what this yarn is. This is Stylecraft Special Aran, and that's the difference. If you want to see the difference, just pause and go back. And that's I didn't know what these would look like having two colours. It was the same customer. She had pinks, and there were two different pinks, and I thought, oh, how am I gonna join it? In what colour? Which colour would I use? And it's worked out, if I use the colour from the outside, it's gonna work. And again, this is why I take my time and make small stitches with sewing. Matching up one stitch off this side to this side, and do it in the same way as you've done the previous stitches. As I said, I have gone backwards and forwards before now through, and I've done it that way, but I came to do this way once, and I now prefer this way of doing it. And this is what I need to crack on and do for the customer, and that's it. I'll put this piece on and the other side, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. There you go. That's what it looks like sewn on. That's one side, that's the other side. If you want this pattern, it's not mine, it's another lady's, and I've enclosed the ears different to what the pattern says. Due to the lady who's buying this, she wanted it for her grandson. She didn't want the edging is more scalloped, and she didn't want that look. She has one already. She's got the pink one I mentioned earlier, the two pinks. So I did what the pattern said on the edging to close the ears up, but because this is for a boy, she didn't want the edging that way. So I have just used a double crochet stitch and closed the edges up. But that's what it looks like. And as I said, you can stitch as well, not the way I did. You can go backwards and forwards, but make sure you go through front, this bit, and the other side. So there you go. I'll finish the rest off camera, and I'll do a video and show you what it looks like in a few days' time. Hopefully my voice will be back to normal and I'll feel a bit better doing crochet projects. If you have any questions, leave them below. If you've got any ideas of what videos you would like me to make, also leave them a comment below. It's nice to read your comments, and I'll get back to them as soon as I can. But from me, Bev at Planet Crochet, I'll catch you again on another video. Bye for now.